In this video, we'll be talking about the character Mr. Ping from Kung Fu Panda and exploring his mysterious backstory. While the official canon does not confirm that he was once a pirate, we'll investigate everything there is to know about this intriguing character, including the fact that he found and adopted the young Po, who would go on to become the Dragon Warrior. Long before he became the beloved noodle maker and restaurant owner we know today, Mr. Ping had a very different life, one filled with adventure, danger, and romance on the high seas. 30 years ago, he was once a fearsome pirate known as the Soul Reaper, sailing the seven seas as the first mate to the notorious pirate queen Forouzan. The two of them made an unstoppable team. Not only were they the most successful and ruthless pirates to ever roam the oceans, but they were also deeply in love. Forouzan and Mr. Ping, then known as the Soul Reaper, were engaged to be married, their partnership extending beyond just the ship. In their heyday, the duo would raid and plunder every town and settlement they came across, their reputation for violence and cunning preceding them. They were utterly undefeated, always managing to evade even the bravest knights and soldiers of medieval England who tried to capture them. Forouzan and Mr. Ping struck terror into the hearts of all who crossed their path. Together, they were an unstoppable force, their pirate exploits the stuff of legend. It's almost impossible to imagine this same Mr. Ping, now a kind-hearted noodle maker, living such a wild and dangerous life on the open seas long ago. But everything changed one fateful day when their pirate ship sailed right into a fleet of English ships. During the battle, their ship was sunk, and while Forouzan managed to survive, Mr. Ping, the Soul Reaper, was nowhere to be found. One of the surviving crew members claimed that he had gone overboard and was lost at sea. Forouzan was absolutely devastated, having lost her first mate and the love of her life. She had never imagined a life without him by her side, and the thought of continuing on without him was unbearable. Little did she know, however, that Mr. Ping had actually survived. Somehow, he managed to make his way to China, where he decided to leave his life of piracy behind. He had seen and experienced things that no one should ever have to go through, and he knew that he needed a change, so he gave up his life of plundering and pillaging and opened up his own noodle restaurant. As the proprietor of the restaurant, he was able to use his skills to create delicious and authentic Chinese dishes. He had always loved cooking, and he found that it brought him a sense of peace and fulfillment that he had never known before. He was finally able to leave his past behind and start anew, and he was grateful for the opportunity to do so. Years went by, and his noodle restaurant became a beloved institution in the community. People came from all over to taste his delicious noodles and enjoy his warm and welcoming atmosphere. And although Forouzan never knew what had become of him, Mr. Ping was finally able to find the happiness and peace that he had always been searching for. One day, while he was busy collecting a new shipment of vegetables for his noodle shop, he stumbled upon a baby panda in one of the radish crates. He was taken aback and looked around, expecting someone to come and claim the little one. But when no one showed up, he decided to bring in the cabbages instead. But after hearing the child cry, Mr. Ping's heart melted, and he decided to keep the baby panda until someone came looking for him. But as he tried to carry the infant, he realized it was too big and heavy for him to handle, so he led the little one inside his shop, leaving a trail of dumplings behind him. He took the baby panda under his wing, bathing, feeding, and nurturing him until he grew to love the little one like his own. As the days went by, he began to realize that no one was coming to claim the child. And with that, he made a life-changing decision to raise the baby panda as his own son. Mr. Ping named the little panda Xiao Po, and from that day on, he dedicated himself to giving the child a loving home and a happy life. He taught Xiao Po how to cook and run the noodle shop, and the little panda quickly became an integral part of the business. As the years went by, they grew closer and closer, and their bond became unbreakable. They became inseparable, and the noodle shop became a place where people came not only for delicious food but also for the warmth and love that Mr. Ping and Xiao Po shared. It was his dream that one day Po would take over the family business, just as he had done when he inherited the shop from his own father. Throughout the years, Mr. Ping never once got upset or frustrated with Po, even when the young panda would accidentally break a dish or mess up an order. To him, Po was nothing short of a hero. He cherished every moment they spent together, watching his son grow and learn the craft of noodle making. Despite the obvious physical differences between them, Mr. Ping and Po never once acknowledged or dwelled on the fact that they were not biologically related. Their bond transcended such superficial distinctions. They loved and respected each other deeply, and that was all that mattered. Up until the events of the second film, the topic of their dissimilar appearances never even came up. Mr. Ping was simply overjoyed to have Po in his life, and Po felt the same way about his adoptive father. Their relationship was built on a foundation of mutual understanding, acceptance, and unwavering affection. Before leaving on a trip to get some vegetables from a distant southern location, Mr. Ping explained to his teenage son Po that he needed him to watch over the noodle shop in his absence. You see, the usual route Mr. Ping took had been blocked by a pesky boar, so he had to venture further out. While Po was left in charge of the restaurant, things took an unexpected turn. Somehow, the young panda ended up accidentally poisoning Master Shifu, the revered kung fu teacher. This forced Tigress to quickly recruit other warriors to step in and help out. When Mr. Ping finally returned from his journey, he was completely oblivious to the chaos that had unfolded. In fact, he was actually laughing about some idiot cook poisoning Shifu, not realizing it was his own son who was responsible. Despite the mess Po had made, Mr. Ping remained incredibly proud of him for taking charge of the noodle shop in his absence. He dismissed any of Po's notions about pursuing a different career path, insisting that his place was here, working alongside his father in the family business. In fact, he was so pleased with Po's efforts that he simply told him to take out the trash, completely unaware of the scroll-switching scheme Tigress had orchestrated behind the scenes. All that mattered to the loving father was that his son was learning the ropes of running the noodle shop, even if a few mishaps occurred along the way. Later on, when the village was being evacuated due to a crisis, Po finally confessed to his father that he was the one who had accidentally poisoned Master Shifu. But to Mr. Ping's surprise, he didn't get upset or angry. Instead, he saw the situation as an opportunity for good publicity and told Po to gather some mushrooms. As Po went out to collect the mushrooms, he stumbled upon the Furious Five, who were busy defeating the boar that had been causing trouble in the village. Witnessing the Five's impressive kung fu skills and teamwork, Po was deeply inspired and began to admire them. He was amazed by their coordination, agility, and strength, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and respect for these skilled warriors. As he watched the Five in action, he began to develop a newfound love for kung fu. He was fascinated by the way they moved with precision and power, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and energy as he watched them fight. This experience would eventually become a significant turning point in Po's life, as he began to pursue his own path in kung fu and become a skilled warrior in his own right.